and welcome to the Galen Eagle Podcast, the Student Summer Edition. In this podcast, we'll be featuring various student conversations that us as students rarely talk about. Today, we'll be talking about Galen life and life as a Galen Eagle. I'm your host, Raul Castillo. I am also the Student Government Association President. I'm in my second year pursuing my bachelor's degree in environmental science, and I'm from the Orange Walk District. Today, I have with me two amazing Galen Eagles who will be sharing about their experience at Galen University. So here on my left, I have Miss Regina Huang. Could you please introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Regina Huang. I'm majoring in international business, and this is my third year here at Galen.
Well, nice. And where are you from, Regina?
I currently live close to Spanish Lookout.
Nice. And here on my right, I have...
My name is Harry Moffett. It's my first year at Galen. I'm studying Anthropology, and I live just outside of Secaucus.
So all of us are from out of district. So the first thing I'd like to ask you, you said this is your third year, right?
Yes.
So how has life at Galen been so far?
It's been great. Definitely a new experience for me, and I am learning a lot and getting the chance to meet new people, and it's been both educational and fun.
Nice. And you, Harry, how has your experience been so far?
It's been good. I started this past winter or spring semester, so it was online. So it was kind of hard to get like a idea of the social life. But the teachers were awesome. Got a ton of support. The classes were super educational and interesting. And today I had my first in-person class, and that was super awesome. And it was great to meet everyone. Yeah.
So the reason why we want to be here today is that we really want to hear your experience coming in from, your various colleges, your various high schools. So I came in from sixth form, and coming in from sixth form, I had a different experience than somebody else who came in from high school or somebody else who came in from the United States. So, I'd like to ask, what was your experience? What was a major difference from transitioning from, high school coming into the university life?
It was kind of like another step into adulthood where you realize, well, it's up to you how quickly you want to do your work. And whereas in high school, there were teachers who were always there helping you throughout the way. And there are teachers here also helping you throughout the way. It's just you kind of learn to become more responsible and realize that this is your future and you need to take it upon your own hands.
All right, thank you. And I really respect that in the sense that, I experienced that coming in from the sixth form. And like you had mentioned, the support here that we get at Galen it's different compared to high school and compared to sixth form. And even though the quality and the workload is a little bit more, but we, like you said, we get to do it on our time. But as well, we have that support from the teachers and the faculty and staff. And you, Harold, what has been the main difference for coming in from the United States to here at Galen?
Well, it's hard to say a ton just because I don't have too much experience like in the in-person classes, but I would second the responsibility part. It's definitely, there's a lot more responsibility that's kind of more just on your hands rather than kind of either, your teachers reaching out to you, and it's definitely just kind of more of a learning experience in that sense.
You had mentioned to me that you come from Spanish Lookout, right?
Or I live close to Spanish Lookout.
Live close to Spanish Lookout, and you had mentioned to me that you went to which high school again?
I went to Jairi High School.
Yeah, so I'd like to ask, why Galen University? Why did you decide to pursue education here?
I saw that it was a good opportunity for me to grow as a person, and I saw here that they had many cool academic resources, and I wanted to take that opportunity.
All right, nice, thank you. And you, Harold, why Galen University?
I guess I've just always kind of had like a natural draw to anthropology, and after I found out that Galen had kind of like a hands-on, they had access to different archaeological sites that students could visit and kind of get like a hands-on education at, that really just kind of sparked my interest, and so that's why I initially came to Galen.
So the main question I'd like to ask now is how did you hear about Galen University? You were in the U.S. and I'd like to hear your experience and how you heard of Galen.
Well, originally I had just come down to visit Belize with my family, and we were actually just driving by and we saw Galen University, and then I looked into it and looked at the anthropology program, and that just seemed really interesting to me, and so then I applied, and the rest is history.
So I first heard about Galen University through when they used to go to schools and give their presentation and stuff. But I never pictured that I'll be enrolled at Galen University because before the pandemic I had wanted to study abroad and but fortunately that's one of the benefits of COVID that happened is that I ended up staying at home and enrolling at Galen University, and I learned more about the environmental science track and the programs, and like how you mentioned the student services that Galen offers, the resources as well, and I didn't give it a second thought, and I ended up enrolling here, and from then I don't regret coming to Galen University. I wish I came a lot sooner. It's just has been a wonderful experience so far, and I feel like even though we were online, we still felt a bit of interconnectedness with everyone. This is my first class on campus as well, so I get to finally match the faces and the voices, and when I first, because speaking about the student services, I'm also a peer mentor as well, and Harold is one of my peer mentees. So I actually saw now how tall Harold actually is. The camera doesn't really do him justice. So those are just some of the student services that Galen has to offer. Transitioning into university and that help that we have. So Regina, I'd like to ask, what are some of the student services that you have used at Galen University, and how have you been involved at Galen University?
I know they have a good tutoring service here, and they also have the Work Scholar academic scholarship here, where you can also work to help pay for your tuition, and that was a really great opportunity, and I think it's a great way for students to take some responsibility upon themselves as well, and also learn hands-on what it's like in the working.
Were you a student scholar?
Yes.
Oh, nice. You're still on?
Yeah.
Okay, so what are you working on campus?
So at the moment I was working online with Dr. Barrow, just helping him with some researching. But before I was also working at the front desk, and there I also learned a lot about communicating with people, helping them out, and it was a really nice opportunity to meet new people.
Nice. And you, Harold, what are some of the student services that you've used here at Galen?
Well, I'm still pretty new, so I haven't used a ton. But yeah, the student mentor-mentee program, that's kind of been my main kind of outlet of that area. Yeah, and what I really like about here at Galen is that not only, like we mentioned, we have that support system, there's also like a lot of resources to help us in the transitioning from university and from high school. So like we had mentioned about the peer mentorship program, I think that's a really good thing, helping students transition from either high school, sixth form, or wherever they may be coming from, just to help with the students coming to Galen and to aid with that transition. It's curated in a way that allows students to talk to other students who have experienced that 1 year at Galen University so far. Because, sometimes when we hold conversation with other students, we tend to sympathize and empathize. So like, for example, I feel kind of like a weight lifted off of my shoulders. If, let's say we're taking a class and you tell me, oh, have you done the assignment yet? And I'm like, oh, I haven't done it either. So, it's like a weight off my shoulder, just having that student on student conversation and stuff like that, because people kind of tend to feel a bit intimidated by reaching the counselor, reaching out to students. So that is a good avenue to have that interconnectedness and that communication between students and teachers. That's an avenue, like I mentioned previously, to just to talk to the higher ups and to the faculty and get to know Galen University better. So like in terms of sympathy and empathy, empathizing with students, it's a great way to not feel like you're putting too much on yourself. Talking to students and different things that we've used, what are some life hacks that you use here at Galen University online, in terms of helping you with your work or things like that? Like, for example, one of the main things that I've used, a student on my papers is Grammarly, that helps me with grammar.
Just like those different stuff that helps you, like, with the citation machines and just to help you with the citation. So is there anything that you've used to, like, a life hack that you like to tell another student,
An online hack that I learned about in calculus class with Mr. Gordon was Desmos, the graphic calculator. You can use that to draw your graphs for you, and it really does help with, you could do cool things with that. You should check it out and try it.
Nice. I've used Desmos already for graphing, and like you said, we can do a lot of it, a lot on it.
You can draw different shapes with the graphs and formulas.
Yeah. And Harold, what are some life hacks or anything that you'd like to share with other students?
Well, I haven't used or learned too many life hacks. I mean, I guess just like for, online schooling, if there's a paper, sometimes the teacher will give you like a list of sources, but using like external sources in addition to that can just really be like useful. But I guess so, yeah.
Right, nice. And like coming back to the amount of workload that we get sometimes. I know, it can be a little bit overwhelming when we have a lot of classes and then we have all the assignments due at the end of the week. What are some ways that you have managed this workload?
I like to separate it into smaller tasks and tackle them individually instead of just looking at one big final paper due at the end of this semester. It makes it feel like it's less work, because definitely if you leave it for the last minute, it's going to feel overwhelming. So I'd suggest don't procrastinate and just take it one step at a time. There's no need to feel like you can't contact your lecturer if you don't know how to do this. You can always talk to your lecturer for help as well.
And I like that you brought that up in terms of contacting your lecturer. Like, that's one thing that I noticed being here, contacting the lecturer, and all the lecturers are very, welcoming to answering questions or to any concerns that you may have, and that's one of the main reasons that, I love it here. The ease of talking to your lecturer, the ease of them having to understand you and understanding the situation that you're in. So that is a good way. Having communication with your teacher is something that I always recommend to students. Email your teacher if just in case you don't have. Let's say you forget an assignment. You honestly forgot an assignment. Talking to your teacher, or you want more clarity on an assignment. Feel free to reach out to your teacher, and they'll be more than willing to help you and help and talk to you about it. So and you, Harold, how have you managed the workload here again?
Well, yeah, it was definitely like a lot more work than high school, but that's kind of just a natural thing. And I would say like the hardest part for me in general of like doing homework is just like starting it and thinking about like how much I have to do, thinking of it as like one big kind of like monster or something, but like not thinking of it as that and just kind of like doing the work, just starting and not thinking of it as this like kind of big challenge, but just doing it just like piece by piece.
Yeah, and that's a good thing that you could that we could share to other students is that like you said, don't wait for it for last minute, because if you wait for it last minute, like you mentioned, it's a monster to us, and it's a little bit overwhelming at times, especially when we come to like the ending of the semester. We have exams and stuff. So I think the way before I wasn't really too much of a time management and I had real bad time management and I used to procrastinate a lot. But what I used here at Galen is I went to the different time management workshops and also working through peer mentorship. I learned a lot of different techniques to help me with time management. For example, I have a big whiteboard in my room. I invested in a whiteboard, and to keep me on track, I write down everything on the whiteboard. So if, I break down all my assignments into different stuff that I have to do, and I put a specific date on the side, and I put a tick mark, and my reward at the end of the week is seeing all the boxes ticked out. So I think it's we all learn in different ways, and we all have different methods that we use to help us with time management. But I think finding one that suits you well is a good way to tackle your assignments and the workload here at Galen University. I know, like you said, in universities that we may go to, the workload is always going to go increasing the higher we go up. So I think developing a healthy work schedule and a work habit would be very good to to help us, throughout our experience here at Galen University. So, in terms of workload, and sometimes, we might get a little overwhelmed and, coping with stress. What are some ways that you have dealt with stress that helps you out?
So I do enjoy painting and drawing, and at the end of the day, when I feel like it's a bit overwhelming with work, I just take some time to do something I like to do. So I recommend doing something that you would like to do. And what do you like to do?
So I try to kind of keep myself busy sometimes when I'm stressed out. So I like to say that, having different tasks, stuff that I like. So I like to go birding. That's one thing that I like. So I'm somewhat of a self-taught birder. Backyard birds and different things. I usually go for runs too. So one thing that I've experienced is that when you get like overly stressed out, exercising or going for a run, it's like a good way to like de-stress. And I used to stress out a lot in the beginning, transitioning from high school, from sixth form to Galen, and especially being online, like you said before, we have a lot of free time on our hands, and especially in the height of COVID and a little bit after COVID, we stressed out a lot and stuff like that. So what I did is that I took all that pent up stress and I went for a run. And the first time I went for a run, I only ran like half a mile before I got tired. But I ended up running more and more and more, just based on that I want to relieve the stress. And I found out that doing exercise and stuff like that really helps you out with your stress levels and in terms of keeping you focused and not worry too much about the stress. And you, Harold, what do you do normally when you stress out?
I do. I usually will just go on like a walk or a hike. I find that like going outside, going into kind of like a natural space is more peaceful and it's easier to kind of calm down in that type of area. But I mean, if that's, not your thing, I just say, starting with a passion, just anything you're interested in, just like doing that, that kind of tends to be a good way to get your mind off of stressing things.
And I like to, just before, I'd like to say thank you for being the first guest on the Galen Eagle podcast. And, I just asked you about, how do you manage stress and how do you manage your time management? But, on the topic of getting to know you guys more, what are some of your interests and what are some things that you are passionate about and how has Galen fostered your passion for this?
As I mentioned before, I do enjoy painting and drawing, and I'm currently taking an art class here at Galen. You two are also in the class,
yes.
So I'm sure it's going to be a fun experience. Yeah, I look forward to it.
So is there any like specific kind of paintings that you like or any kind of art that you're into?
I like to paint scenery, like the beach or the park or flowers, just something like that.
Nice. And you, what are some things that you are into and how has Galen has fostered that for you?
So I mean, I'd say just taking the anthropology courses has been really informative and interesting for me. That was already kind of an interest of mine before coming to Galen, and so being able to like further my studies in that topic has been really interesting and has been awesome. Yeah.
And you also had mentioned that you're into snakes, into herpetology. So, yes. Have you been on any herping missions lately?
No, I haven't been looking for snakes as of recently, but I will definitely get back out in the field and start looking again. But yeah, I mean, just like our online mentor-mentee sessions have been awesome because I know you're, a nature enthusiast as well, so it's been cool to have like a fellow student that has similar interests. Yeah.
So yes, Harry, you're currently enrolled in the anthropology program. What are some things new things that you learned, and what are some things that you are looking most forward to? So
far I've had a biological anthropology class, kind of just learning more like the anatomical side of human evolution and genes and all the different factors that play into that, and that was super interesting. And then I had another class that was kind of just an archaeology method and theory course, and that kind of just gave an overview of what is involved in the branch of anthropology that is archaeology and the different just kind of how that works out in the field and in labs. And I would say something I'm looking forward to, I'm taking a Maya prehistory course this semester, and at the end of the semester we're going to be able to go to Xunantunich, which is like a Maya ruin kind of close to where I live, and that'll be super awesome. I'm looking forward to that. We'll be able to get hands-on learning at one of the sites, which will be really cool.
Oh, nice. And on the topic of hands-on learning, I myself as an environmental science major, I have had ample opportunities to be in the environment, even though we've been in COVID. So I took a class last year whereby I had to identify a forest patch in my area. So I did for that class I had to go in the forest, local forests, and I spent mornings, so from mornings from like 5 o'clock from morning to like 5 o'clock in the evening, just in the forest itself, applying the principles that we learned. So we learned theory in class, and I was happy enough to, and I was lucky enough to be granted the opportunity to being able to apply that theory within class. And to what I noticed through the different programs that we have here at Galen, there's a lot of opportunities to volunteer and to intern at different organizations. So through the environmental science program now, I've been granted the opportunity to intern at the newly established Ministry of Blue Economy and Civil Aviation, and that is something that, I'm appreciative about, different opportunities that Galen has to offer, and, how the different courses are set, and how they involve their students. And, coming back to you, Regina, I'd like to hear, what are some stuff that you've learned in your program, new stuff that you've learned, and stuff that you're looking forward to.
So one that stands out to me would be this international marketing class that I took last semester, where we were asked to create a product, come up with a marketing plan, and figure out a way of how we would offer that product to customers. And it was fun to develop the product and to realize the different obstacles that you can turn into opportunities as you try to design a product. And we chose to design habanero pepper sauce, and we were asked to create the logo, the marketing plan, how exactly we would offer it to customers. And it was a nice group activity, and it was quite interesting and very educational. Nice.
And what I really like about the other courses too is that I had the opportunity through my curriculum. I had the opportunity to take some other courses within the different majors. So, for example, I took a ecotourism class that I found very interesting. I've never taken a tourism class, and that was something new to me. And just learning more about tourism and ecotourism, and it was a new experience. I had to design my own resort. I had to design my own eco resort. Just the different principles that come entail with ecotourism. So I think that was a great opportunity, and through the curriculum that we have here at Galen, there's a lot of opportunity. If you come in from high school, if you come in from sixth form, you still have a chance to kind of decipher what major that you want to go into. So if you're still not sure what field that you want to be in, you can always feel around and get to know through the different electives that you can fill up with other classes. So I think that is a good thing that Galen offers for students. So speaking about our experience here at Galen University, looking at yourself before starting Galen and looking at yourself now, what are some things that have changed in you as a person?
So I've come to realize that I'm more willing to take on challenges head on instead of being shy, and so that's one thing that I've noticed, because I remember being in high school, I didn't really talk that much, and I really kept my voice low, but here I find myself talking a lot more, getting to know people, learning a lot of new things, and generally it's been a great experience.
Yeah, and you are looking at yourself. I know you just started Galen University, but looking at yourself before Galen and looking at yourself after your first semester, what are some ways that you have changed as a person?
I would say the main thing has been work ethic. I think, like, coming into Galen, didn't have a horrible work ethic in high school, but I definitely wanted to make that like a much larger component of what I was going to focus on when I went into college, and it's paid off. And not only has it paid off, but it's also kind of just changed my just perspective on on just different fields of interest and like tasks in day-to-day life. It's definitely just kind of enhanced my ability to just get work done. Yeah.
Nice. And I think I had the same experience, as you guys had. I changed a lot before I came here. As I was here at Galen University, before, I didn't have really a goal set, through the different programs that they have here at Galen, with the peer mentorship program and getting to know the students. I built a foundation that, I believe that I'll be able to use within the work field and for forever future endeavors that I have. And like I mentioned previously, my work ethic wasn't all the best, coming in from high school and sixth form. And, I developed a very healthy work ethic and, and Galen has allowed me to grow as a person, not only as a person, but also as a leader, through the different activities that they have to offer through, through student affairs, through talking to your different lecturers, talking to like-minded students has really changed me as a person and, has made me achieve the goals that I've always wanted to achieve. And, I think if you're still not sure as to where you are as a student, I believe Galen University is a great place to come and to develop yourself further and to find your footing and experience something new. Like I always tell people, I was very nervous. I'm still very nervous, when it comes to like interviews and, talking to new people. But I think coming out of your shell, around people that have the same goal as you, because we all have the same goal to graduate at the end of the day. Coming out of your shell and talking to people and experiencing new things, I never thought that I would become the president of Galen University, but, because we were online and I didn't really know anyone and, I took it upon myself to be involved no matter what, make the most out of my experience. And that's something that I recommend to all students is that, there's resources here at Galen that are offered and, it is up to you to make use of it and one thing I'd like to share with you guys is that make use of those resources because those are the ones that are going to help you to grow as a person, to grow as a student, and to grow as a leader. So that has really stood out to me looking at myself back then and now. Utilizing those resources has turned me into the person that I've always wanted to become. And, to not only help me, socially, but also academically, that's something that I'm really appreciative of Galen for. I just like to close off today by saying thank you to Mr. Harold and Ms. Regina for being our first guest today for the Galen Eagle podcast, the student summer edition. I'd like to say thank you also to our viewers. We'll be here next week, same time, same place, every Thursday.